Go.
Morning, everyone. Thank you for coming out today. I appreciate this. Weather's not the most ideal today. We had hoped that we were going to be outside, but we'll make the best of things here indoors. I'm going to read a prepared statement, and after that there will be an opportunity for questions and answers after the prepared statement is read. And we'll make sure that all media that are here receive a copy of the statement, and those media that are on our mailing list will also receive a copy of the statement as well later today. In a series of press conferences that I conducted on August 3rd, 2016, I questioned the judgment of Congressman Darin LaHood in light of his continuing endorsement of Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump. Mr. LaHood has since then reaffirmed that endorsement, and his decision to do so further calls into question the Congressman's decision on this matter. My purpose today, however, is to call attention to other matters of questionable judgment that fall under the well-worn category of politics as usual and reflect perceived abuses of power that incumbency can entail. Earlier this summer, Congressman LaHood announced his intention to open a new district office here in Bloomington to serve the needs of the residents of McLean County. He noted with pride that his predecessor, Congressman Schock, had not been able to establish such an office, but that he intended to do so by August 2016. As many of you are likely aware, that office opened yesterday, August 29th. While one can certainly find merit in providing greater constituent services to residents of the county that, by curious coincidence, has the largest population of the 19 counties that constitute the Illinois 18th District, does the timing of this announcement and the opening date of the office strike anyone else as being unusual? When a politician makes this type of decision just 10 weeks before a contested election, it is hard to view it as anything more than a crass political ploy to score points using the taxpayer's dime. In fact, many legislative reformers, like former Congressman Ray LaHood, strove to reduce the congressional perks and prerogatives that incumbents could use when engaged in campaigns for re-election. This was the basis of the long-running effort for franking reform, and by default, it extends to the ability to use taxpayer funds to finance an establishment that is being created to foster an immediate political benefit. In short, this is politics as usual at its worst. If Congressman Darin LaHood believes that the urgency of this new district office, which by the way would be his 4th office in the 18th District, is essential just months prior to the November 8th general election, I challenge him to self-finance the operations and staffing of that new office for the next few months. Do this from the campaign war chest that he's accumulated over the years. In our political system, the vested power of incumbency is always substantially greater than what any challenger might present. But the blatant use of tax dollars to advance a political purpose is especially disturbing. Moreover, for one who claims to be a fiscal conservative, to stoop to such tactics in retail politics certainly demonstrates one's truest colors. Not the red of pure conservatism, but mostly just the green of big money politics. Anyone seeking further proof of Congressman LaHood's tactics should consider the mailer that he recently sent out to residents across the Illinois 18th District. This is a copy of that mailer. This is actually the one that I received. It's a 4-color professional piece that went out. I believe I received this two Saturdays ago.
Bad mailing list, apparently.
This mailer carried the notice, direct quote, "This mailing was prepared, published, and mailed at taxpayer expense," end of quote. Any fair-minded voter, regardless of political affiliation, will certainly recognize the callous nature of this type of political grandstanding at the taxpayer's expense. And when such a mailing stems from a self-proclaimed fiscal conservative, one cannot disregard the hypocrisy that is present. When he was questioned about such campaign mailings back in 2007, Then Congressman Ray LaHood stated, direct quote, "It's a waste of taxpayers' money. I don't believe in this self-promotion," end of quote. It's clear that Congressman Darin LaHood should heed his father's advice more often. Now, if elected to the U.S. Congress to represent the residents of the Illinois 18th District, I would introduce two bills to remedy this problem. The first would prohibit any incumbent congressman or senator from opening a brand new district office within 6 months of any general election in which they are candidates for re-election. The second bill would prohibit the use of the congressional frank to mail out campaign literature within 3 months of the general election. Such measures would help to restore the confidence of the American people that the so-called perks of incumbency do not include the privilege to spend tax dollars to advance one's political gain. These measures would also reaffirm to voters that constituent services are important right from the start in one's tenure of office, and not merely when it serves an immediate political advantage. Fortunately, the common sense of the voting public is sufficiently clear to recognize politics as usual when it rears its ugly head, and to distinguish the fatally flawed judgment of those who had hoped they would not be wise enough to take notice. That's the end of the prepared statement, and at this point I would readily take any questions that any of you might have to offer.
How many offices should the district have, given its makeup, do you think?
The number of offices has to be a factor of how much money is allocated. In other words, you have to consider the greatest and most efficient use of resources that is present. In this particular district, keep in mind the 18th is one of the largest congressional districts in the state. You do have residents that have to travel as far as 80 miles to get to a congressional office. This district goes all the way out to Quincy, and so you have river counties of Hancock and Adams and Pike County. The closest district for those residents would either be driving to Jacksonville or driving to Peoria. Currently, the congressman now has 4 offices, and by the way, 2 of his 4 offices are located outside the fiscal boundaries of the 18th district. The district that is located in Peoria is located in the 17th in Congresswoman Bustos' district, and the office in Springfield is located in the 13th in Congressman Rodney Davis's district. So of these 4, at least 2 of the 4 are located within the district, 2 are located physically outside the district. If it were possible that a 5th office could be established, certainly residents in the western counties would say we deserve our due, that we should have an office as well. Members of Congress, as I understand, are given a certain amount of money that they can use to staff their offices, and they have to make the wisest use of that money in terms of where they place the offices and how they try to serve the district as best as they can. One of the things that I find unusual, Congressman LaHood talks about the importance of job creation in the district, but it seems that adding new staff members and creating new offices might be his most efficient use of creating new jobs at the district.
The 3 months within, is that 3 months either side of the election or 3 months before the election?
I would say 3 months before.
Okay.
3 months before. And in fact, my reason for picking the 3 months before is back in 2007, when then Congressman Ray LaHood was actually involved in trying to bring about legislative reform in these areas. He was the one who had said, it was Ray LaHood who had said that within 90 days of an election, you should not have this type of politicking going out. Whenever you have something and it's basically sent out with congressional frank, the congressional signature, and it basically states that it's prepared for, published, and mailed at taxpayer expense. It's very difficult to say that this somehow is simply an informative piece that's being sent out. Let's be real, it's all politics. And if you're doing politics at the taxpayer's expense, that's pretty pathetic. I see this really as a type of desperation move. You shouldn't have to do this. And Ray LaHood, in his 14 years in Congress, Ray LaHood never once sent out this kind of mailing under the congressional frank. Because as I stated in the earlier comments, he said that this is not necessary. We don't have to do it this way.
I'm good.
Thank you.
Yep,
Thanks
thanks.
a lot.